From the depths of radio nothingness comes Radio Nowhere. From the depths of radio nothingness comes Radio Nowhere. This is Radio Nowhere. Is there anybody alive out there? This is Radio Nowhere. Is there anybody alive out there? WJBD is proud to permit Radio Nowhere.
Everybody shut up.
All right, we're back.
Welcome back.
Talking to the microphone.
I'm not plugged in.
Welcome back. There we are. All right, welcome back. We're doing better now.
Are you?
I am. How are you?
Great.
It's Matt Donahoe.
Chad Spray.
Steve Stein.
Matt Liebarger.
And we are...
Funky's not plugged in. Can you plug in Funky?
Yeah, give me the thing. This is great radio. And this is...
Short out the board. Be careful.
I might, yeah. So this is Radio Nowhere. We are...
That's so much better, thanks.
It's Parody Sunday.
We are having technical difficulties already into the show. Steve is supposed to be our producer. And, of course, we see how well that's working out for us. It's Parody Sunday. Tell us about that, Steve.
We're going to play a bunch of song parodies, and that's all.
And why are we doing that?
Because Weird Al has a new album.
That's right. He has a new album that came out on Tuesday. And that first track we heard was Word Crimes, his parody of Blurred Lines.
Blurred Lines.
Very good. And the album is Mandatory
Robin Thicke.
Mandatory Fun. And have we all had an opportunity to see Weird Al live here in concert?
I have.
I have not.
I thought you were with us.
No, I've probably had the opportunity, but I have not seen him.
Okay. Funky? You saw him.
Yeah, I think I was with you guys.
That's right. We saw him at Six Flags, actually.
I've seen him a couple times.
Yes. And coming up later in the hour, we have a story about Chad and Weird Al.
Yet another story where I don't fare well.
No, you don't. Not at all.
So you mentioned you saw him at Six Flags.
Yeah, we saw him at Six Flags.
So I have a Six Flags story.
Okay, what's your Six Flags story?
I haven't been to Six Flags in probably about 15 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been there.
Well, I went back with the family a couple weeks ago and was nervous about it. Hadn't ridden a roller coaster or anything for a long time. So
Okay.
I loved them, but I can find myself now getting car sick a little bit occasionally. So I was a little nervous about it. So I got there and went and rode the mine train first. Thought we'd take it out easy. Had my son sit in the front seat with me. Was fun. Had a good time.
And he's 8.
Yes.
He's
12.
12. Sorry, I'm getting confused here.
Anyway, so they've been there a couple times. So he's ridden some of these roller coasters already. He'd ridden the mine train, and I said, "You want to sit up front?" And he said, "Sure." So we did. No problem. From there, we went to the Screaming Eagle. He had not ridden it yet. I said, "Let's sit in the front seat again."
Is that not a jump from Mine Train to Screaming Eagle?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And I was messing with his mind a little bit. We're going up the big hill and said, "Now this first drop's really rough." And I don't know if you remember the Screaming Eagle. It just kind of like barely breaks over at the top, goes around, and then there's like the big drop.
Okay.
But he was fine. He loved it. From there, I rode the Rush Street Flyer. And
I don't think I've ever been on that.
I don't remember the drop-off being as disturbing as it was for me this time. It was very uncomfortable, but I managed. Then we went and rode the Boss.
And I don't even know what that is.
That's the bigger wooden roller coaster. It's bigger than Screaming Eagle. Faster.
Is it newer?
Yeah, it was.
Now,
the
again,
last time I was at Six Flags 15 years ago, it was new.
Okay. So
Do they still have the Ninja and Batman?
Yes.
Batman was what, Mr. Freeze? And wasn't its thing a backwards?
Oh, that's Mr. Freeze, and it's a roller coaster goes straight up and then shoots back.
Backwards, okay.
But anyway, yeah, we rode the Boss. I enjoyed it, but I felt like my head was going to come off. It jars you around so much, and I had a pretty good headache afterwards.
See, I remember not being necessarily a big roller coaster fan, but going on them when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tried going on one sometime in the past 10 years. We were with the kids at Holiday World.
Right.
And now it's like, I get on them and I think, I could die. And I'm not making, I know there have been accidents. I'm not making a joke about any, but it's like, I get this fear of like, oh my gosh, this is awful.
Yeah, I hate them now, too. I am officially retired, like, short of, like, a new one at Disney where you don't expect, high, drama.
Like
I'm retired. I go to Six Flags, I'm going to walk around. I'm done. I'm tapped out. I'm announcing my retirement from roller coaster riding.
Disney has that new one,
the Snow White Mine Train, and it's supposed to be a bit of a step up, from, like, the kiddie ride. So I'll ride it once to say I've ridden it, but probably going to retire from that one, too. I'm a big Disney fan.
Well, everything's better at Disney, right?
Well, everything is better,
including
but
fireworks.
the roller coasters they have there, one time and then retire there. I hate roller coasters. Part of it is the build-up. You're like, as you get older, it's like, what am I getting on this for? It's just like, you're going to suffer for it. Why am I subjecting myself to this?
And there are other rides that are, I'm not going to say even worse, but like that one that's just a open chair straight drop thing.
Oh yeah, the Superman thing.
Is that at Six Flags? Is
Yeah,
that
it's
what
a
it is?
Superman Tower of Power. It like takes you up and just drops you.
And it's just you in a seat.
Yeah.
And it takes you. There's no
You just
car.
free fall, yeah.
Yeah. And
See, give me the free fall because it's over. I don't want the roller coasters that corkscrew me and take me upside down. If somebody shakes me upside down, I'm giving away state secrets. I am done. I am going to lose whatever food I had. Forget the roller coasters.
So anyway, we rode the Boss and kind of had a headache, but at this point, I can still do this. I'm all right. My biggest concern was the Batman, not because of the ride itself. I always loved riding the Batman.
And Batman's the Mr. Freeze? Is that what we're talking about?
No, it's a totally different ride.
Oh, so
you're hanging underneath the rails on the Batman.
Oh,
So you're like
yeah,
finger
I
dangling.
remember that. I never even went on that one. Yeah,
The big problem I always had with the Batman was when you come back in the station, there was like a real sudden hard stop.
Okay.
And that, back then even, that bothered me. So that was my big concern. So we get on the Batman, and I'm still feeling good. I'm feeling pumped. I'm like, yep, last roller coaster, I can do this. We leave the station. You kind of go down a hill a little bit, and then it goes into like a corkscrew spiral where you go upside down. Like somebody like flipped a light switch, and like instantly I was just like, oh no. It was just, it hit me. It just...
What?
Just
fear?
No, like nausea.
No, like, okay.
Yeah, it's like we started spinning, and it was just like immediately I went from I can still do this to what did I just get myself into? And I had to actually close my eyes and just start taking deep breaths just to get through it.
Like not get sick?
Yeah, we got back to the station. I got off and I was like, "Yep, ready to go home." It was just like instantly.
Ugh.
Welcome to my world. Probably the last roller coasters I've ridden, always with the eyes closed. I couldn't tell you what some rides look like because once I hit my seat, these eyes are closed. I basically super glue my eyes shut until I pull back into the station.
Chad,
hate roller coasters.
You and I were at Universal.
Yeah.
And you rode...
We rode what was like the fire and ice?
I did not.
The
fire and ice, it was like two dragon-themed things.
Yeah, different, blue and red.
And one of them was tame and one of them...
was not.
And you rode the one that was not?
I rode them both, and because I got the one that was tame first, because, again, sort of like Steve, I can do this. This isn't bad. Then you get a bad one, and you're done. You're done. It's done.
Were you done, Steve, then, after that? Were you...
Yeah, knowing that my family had already been there twice this year, I said, does anybody want to ride anything else? They were like, no. I was like, time to go home. And we got there, the park opens at 10:30, I think, or 10.
Okay.
This was 1 o'clock, and we were packing up and heading out. So
Did your wife drive home?
I hesitate to even say this because I usually don't ever let her drive. Not that she's a bad driver, but I just we got to Fairview, and I kept getting worse, and I finally pulled off to Fairview. I was like, you're going to have to drive. And I don't even ever sleep in a car, and I slept from Fairview all the rest of the way home. So
So
yeah, it was I'm still disappointed, actually.
Like Chad, are you announcing your retirement from roller coasters?
I'm not going to go that far, but let's just say I will be staying on ones that don't go upside down.
We can find you on Thunder River if we need you.
Yeah.
Just from that story, I think as your collective corner men, we will be throwing the towel in if we see you getting on them. I think those symbols, you should call it a career on those roller coasters.
But that means you're getting old, and I'm not ready to admit that just yet.
You can see 40 from where you are, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
Funky, what's your take on roller coasters?
I've not been anywhere to ride one in almost 10 years, I think.
Would you go on one?
I think my brother and I rode one at Holiday World close to 10 years ago, and it was rough on my neck and my head, and it was fine, but we got done, and we both kind of just looked at each other and said, yeah, I think I'm done. I mean, I would ride another one, but it wasn't fun. It was just...
I think probably like everybody in this room, our proudest amusement park or Summerfest moment, Funky probably knows what I'm talking about, was when we sent our other two co-hosts through the most awesome ride at Summerfest and stood and laughed our butts off about it.
Actually, that was me and...
It was you and Chad, I thought.
No, it was me, but not Chad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the story behind
Wacky
that
Shack.
is back when Summerfest used to come through here. Was it the Wacky Shack?
It was the Wacky Shack.
They're like, oh my gosh, it's this great thing. You walk through, and you know,
just
like
one part.
you'll know, like, right? You'll know it when you see it.
Yeah, that was it.
So we went through,
And we stood and laughed our butts off.
and they watched because you could watch from the outside because
Yeah.
it's like
It was for little kids.
and it was like a little kid, like not even a
like a fun
hall
house.
of mirrors, like a fun house, and it was ridiculous. So then we got out, and it was
We
like,
made them buy tickets and
Yep.
everything. Just stood there.
It was awesome.
So tonight on Radio Nowhere, we've all but retired from our rides because we're getting old. And Weird Al is getting old, but he hasn't stopped. He's still doing the parodies. And that's just it. Half of his albums are parody songs, and half of them are originals or style parodies. They're in the style of an artist. We might be hearing one of those later. We are going to hear one from his Bad Hair Day album. Chad, you picked this one.
Yeah, it's called I Remember Larry. It doesn't actually sound bad as far as Al singing, but I guess you'd call it the punchline to the joke. My wife and I were listening to it a couple days ago. It's a fun song. You hear where, and then the punchline's like, wow, okay. I mean,
The last verse, right?
Yeah, love it. I mean, so just enjoy it. You'll see what I mean.
All right, it's I Remember Larry. It's on Radio Nowhere. It's our Weird Al tribute show here on WJBD.
Say, do you remember that guy Larry next door? Well, he...
Funky, explain yourself.
That is Rock and Roll McDonald's by Wesley Willis. Wesley Willis was a Chicago native, an eccentric artist. I believe had some mental health concerns too, at least later in life. Extremely prolific. He put out like dozens of albums, but all the songs are very formulaic, like the same backing track about various things, and then he ended every song with a some kind of catchphrase from a commercial, like that one said Wheaties Breakfast of Champions, or Timex, it takes a licking and keeps on ticking, or something like that.
That song was rather special.
That was
I like it.
That wasn't, and it kind of fits with our theme tonight. Weird Al's new album is out, and we are playing Weird Al music and other odd music. You aren't going to hear just Weird Al tonight, and there was our first entry. And unfortunately, radio cannot convey the smile Funky had on his face the whole time that song was playing.
It's a victory for me.
But
Small one at that, maybe.
but it is Weird Al night for us, and we were talking about we've seen him in concert. I have been fortunate enough to meet him actually twice.
Chad, didn't you meet him too?
After a show? And he's very nice. I actually have a picture taken with him both times. I mean, he's very gracious. He waits after the show sometimes and meets people. And one time, I went along with my wife, and Chad and his wife went as well. And we, thanks to the radio station, actually had media passes. That's how we got to see him. So it wasn't, this was one of the times he wasn't actually going to be meeting everyone. So we got media passes to meet him. And first of all, let me just say, Weird Al, one of the nicest people you can imagine. He just does, I mean, his stage shows a lot of energy, a lot of costume changes, but after the show, he's not like acting goofy or whatever. I mean, it's very nice. And Chad, did they have an opportunity, did you have an opportunity to like talk to him and get an autograph and stuff like that?
I did get an autograph, but just let me,
No, I'm going to ask questions here.
I'm going to help you out and let you take it away, but for our listeners, the scene from the movie A Christmas Story where you've got the kid standing in line that says, "I like the Tin Man," and then he gets on Santa's lap and just freezes and ends up, that was pretty much me with Weird Al. I mean, I froze. I freely admit it, and I've not heard the end of it, so, I mean, there you go.
Well, see, I love Weird Al. Couldn't wait to meet him. Got to meet him. Just speaking of personal victories, a big moment. And my wife and I got our picture taken with him. Great. And then Chad and his wife are waiting, and he gets an autograph. And this is the best part. I love this. Weird Al, says, "Would you like to have a picture?"
That's right, a photo.
Would you like to get a photo? Okay.
And
now, Chad, have you ever met Weird Al before that?
No.
Or since?
No.
Okay. So, and you like Weird Al, right?
Love Weird Al.
You're a fan. Weird Al says, because Kendra and I just got done having our picture taken, says, "Would you like to have a photo made? Would you like to get your picture taken?" And Chad says,
I honestly don't remember, but whatever he's about to say, I've got to, I have no defense.
He just very quietly goes, "No." And so I'm staring at him. Kendra's staring at him. His wife is staring at him. Weird Al is staring at him. And Weird Al says something, and this isn't quote, just kind of like, "I don't mind." And Chad just goes, "No." And it's more like in Christmas Story where Ralphie freezes up and asks for a football because...
Yeah, wake up, stupid!
Well, yeah, because Chad's just... And he's standing there because he signed your CD or something.
That booklet
or
from
that
that box
booklet,
set.
yeah. So he's just standing there. He just got it signed. And he goes, "Okay, well, thanks for coming to the show." And we're walking off, and I say, "Are you sure? I'll take the picture. Are you sure you don't want your picture taken?" And Weird Al is like, "Yeah, you sure?" Chad just goes, "No." And then we left.
Strike three.
Yeah, exactly. And we left. We walk out of the building. And we're all excited. It was a great show. We got to meet him. And I'm like, "Why didn't you get your picture taken?" Chad, do you remember your response?
I honestly don't, but I'm not going to dispute again what...
"Chad, why didn't you get your picture taken?" And you just kept walking. You just go, "I don't know."
Were there tears flowing down his face at this point?
It was like he was scared or something. Like he I don't know. But that memory more, I will tell you this, Chad, more than any of the autographs I have or ever actually meeting him, I think that memory is the greatest experience I have. So
Glad to help.
now, Steve,
Yes.
you've not been to a Weird Al concert to see it,
Right.
but you got an opportunity to interview Weird Al?
I did.
Is that right?
Yeah, the station actually sent me to. I got the press pass and got to interview him for the show.
And do I have that here?
You have it. Yes, it should be in your file there.
That is fantastic.
Oh, it was amazing.
And I'm glad that you had an opportunity to do that for this show tonight. So,
Yep.
thank you, Steve.
He's a big fan of the show too.
He is?
He is. Yeah. He tells you.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay,
incredible.
let's hear this interview from Steve.
Steve Stein reporting for WJBD News Radio Nowhere. Tonight, I am extremely excited. I got an interview with the one, the only Weird Al Yankovic. It's hard to believe. I happened to catch him before a concert the other night, and we'll go to that interview now. So, Al, what have you been up to lately?
Oh, around.
Okay, well, so I understand you are a huge fan of Radio Nowhere. Would you care to tell us a little bit about that? So that was the interview. He had to head off and get ready for the show, but that was absolutely an incredible interview. What a great guy. Probably the best interview I've done so far. Just really down to earth, great guy. So reporting live for, somewhat live for WJBD Radio Nowhere. I am Steve Stein.
So that was
Steve
recorded live
at the time, right
at the
before.
show,
Yeah,
and he was getting ready to go out.
Yeah, they let the fans in like during the middle of the interview, and it got a little louder. But
Did it?
A little bit. But it was, just really. I mean, he really was a good guy. Talked about how he's listened to every episode of the.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to repeat it. We just heard.
No, I know.
We just heard it in the interview. So,
but
that's
all
right.
Really cool.
Good. Well, great job again with the interviews.
Sure.
I think with every interview you do, I think you're getting better. So,
Well, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Can you give us weather?
I can. Can you give me the intro?
Weather. Go.
Wow. Today, it's going to be 84 degrees, partly cloudy skies. For tonight, it's going to be, and tonight when I mean Sunday night,
Yeah. We know.
mostly clear with a low of 64. Monday, we're going to start warming up. It's going to be mostly sunny with a high of 88. Monday night, 68 degrees, mostly clear. Looks like it's going to continue to warm up through Tuesday, when we're going to hit the 90s. Chance of rain Wednesday, and then it looks like possibly another chance of rain next Saturday. That is your forecast with Steve.
On.
Radio Nowhere, WJBD.
That was awful.
Thank you.
That was just terrible.
I was kind of thinking you'd get me an intro one of these days. That's not it.
You don't like that?
No.
All right. You like this?
Is this Harvey the Wonder?
No. Kind of continuing our goofy theme. What is this, Funky?
It's Curly Shuffle,
Bye.
the Jump in the Saddle Band.
Me and my friends go out in the town. We can't sit still, we can't sit down. We don't like to fight.
What an awesome song.
It really is. And that's Weird Al, the title track from his 1985 album, Dare to Be Stupid. And that is from the CD, the album of it, I have at home, autographed, from when I met him and got my picture taken with him.
And Chad muttered.
And Chad, yes. I don't know what Chad did.
Tin Manned it up.
Tin Man. I like the Tin Man.
So, it's that time of the show again.
What's that?
We have a phone call.
Oh, okay. Do you know who it is?
I'm not certain, but it sounded important.
They always sound important to you, Steve.
Yeah, that's true. It rang, so it's important.
So we have at least one person listening out there.
At least one person listening.
Let's go to the phone lines then. Radio Nowhere, you are on the air. Hello.
You're ruining everything.
I am. Hello, you're on the air.
Hi, I was calling to see if I could request a song.
Hi. What are you wanting to hear?
Could you play some Beatles for me?
Well, sir, tonight we're actually doing a parody theme show, so it needs to be like a parody of a song.
Or a comedy or something, like kind of like how Weird Al does songs in the style of something like that.
Oh, well, you know what? Now that you mention that, I want to plug. I'm in a band, and I wanted to plug this great band that's actually a Beatles tribute band. That's
Really?
why I wanted to hear a Beatles song.
Oh, wow.
Can I plug this? Can I plug this group? They're fantastic.
Okay, let me tell you something. First of all, what's your name?
My name's George.
George, I have to tell you, you are talking to a big Beatles fan here. I love the Beatles. I've actually gotten a chance to see a couple of Beatles tribute bands.
Oh, well, that's fantastic. And this band that I wanted to plug is they're the best I've ever seen. They're fantastic.
And okay,
Have you seen them, or are you in them.
He said he's in a tribute band. So
Right, but he said that their band was the best he's ever seen.
Well, tell us about the band.
Well, the band is, like I said, it's a Beatles tribute band. Their name is All You Need Is Us, a Beatles experience.
Wait, what is it?
Clever.
Yeah.
It's All You Need Is Us, a Beatles experience.
Oh, okay. All You Need Is Us, a Beatles experience. Awesome.
Are you playing around here locally?
It's a fantastic Beatles tribute.
Okay.
okay.
And wait. Okay. Can you tell us just a little bit about All You Need Is Us?
Well, just the resemblance to the Beatles is uncanny. I mean,
and that's always a big thing.
Yeah,
in
if you're
Beatles
a tribute band,
yeah.
that's kind of important.
It's not just the music, but the looks and.
Well, yeah, Logan. He's the John. He plays John.
Okay.
And does a great job. Greg is Paul. And,
Okay.
And does a wonderful job playing. Except Greg is right-handed, of course, whereas obviously Paul
McCartney
left-handed.
is famously a left-handed bass player.
Yes.
Okay.
So he has to play right-handed because he's okay. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, and Harper's Ringo.
Okay.
And Blake and Badger are George.
Blake and Badger?
Yeah, they take turns.
Like if one lost his voice or something, like a backup, or?
Well, no, Blake can't handle all the guitar parts, so and Badger plays the rest of them. He does the more he plays the sitar, plays more of some of the trippier stuff. Blake plays the early rock and roll stuff.
Okay, all right.
So,
are they on stage at the same time, or does one switch off during intermission? How's that work?
They switch off. They take turns depending on what song's being played.
Okay. That's a little. That's okay. That's a little
odd.
Yeah,
it's a little unusual, but that's. Are they? I mean,
do they? I mean, does the between songs does the curtain come out or something, where they can switch and it'd be smooth?
Yeah, they step to the side.
Wait,
like Blake steps off to the side, and Badger steps off.
Okay.
Stage right.
I got a question, real quick, just so I'm clear in my head. What's your name again?
My name's George.
George what?
George Martin.
Oh, well, that's a neat coincidence.
What do you mean?
What do I mean about what?
A coincidence.
George Martin. At the Beatles? He was, okay. You know what? I have a question I need to clarify before we get into that, George.
Sure.
Tell me about All You Need Is Us again. Tell me about the band members. List them very slowly, George.
Okay, Logan is John.
Okay.
Greg is Paul.
Okay.
Harper's Ringo.
Okay.
And Blake and Badger are George.
Where do you fit into all this?
Yeah, that was my question.
Oh, I'm Greg.
I thought.
Wait a minute. You're Greg.
Right.
What
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't recall you listing a Greg.
Well, no, you said Greg. Wait a minute. I'm very, very confused.
Okay, real quick. Run down more time. Run down the band.
Yeah, do the band.
Logan is John.
Gotcha.
Okay. Harper's Ringo.
Okay.
Greg is Paul.
Greg is Paul.
And then Blake and Badger are George.
Okay, and your name is?
You are Paul.
I'm George.
Okay, but you didn't list your name in the previous four you just ran down.
Yeah, and that's messing with my head. You said you're Greg. What does that mean?
I mean, your nickname's not Badger, is it?
Or is Greg your stage name?
No, I portray Greg.
You did not mention that you...
You said Greg plays Paul.
That's right.
We seem to have some sort of miscommunication with this caller.
Steve, who plays
Chad,
Clarence?
Is there a Pete Best?
Yeah, Chad, Steve, can either of you follow what's going on here?
I'm kind of lost.
What do you mean you play Greg?
My tribute band.
Right, All You Need Is Us.
Well, no, All You Need Is Us, a Beatles experience.
Okay, All You Need Is Us, a Beatles experience. You're in a Beatles tribute band.
All You Need Is Us, a Beatles experience is the Beatles tribute band.
Yes.
My band pays tribute to All You Need Is Us, a Beatles experience.
So you're a tribute. You're You're a tribute band to a tribute band.
Yes.
So, wait a minute. Okay, so real quick, All You Need Is Us plays tribute to the Beatles.
Yes.
And you are in, and it's All You Need Is Us, a Beatles experience, right?
Yes.
You are in a separate band.
Yeah. Yes.
What is that band called?
Well, we are a tribute band to All You Need Is Us, a Beatles experience. The name of our group is All You Need Is Them, and All You Need Is Us, a Beatles experience.
Can you say that one more time?
Please don't.
All You Need Is Them, and All You Need Is Us, a Beatles experience.
And that is your band.
Yes.
Okay, and then
Legally, you get away with this?
okay, and I'm
And is your band so much a tribute to the Beatles, or more of a tribute to a band pretending that they're the Beatles?
No, we're not a tribute. We're not a Beatles tribute band at all.
So, do you even like the Beatles, or is it more you like the guys that like the Beatles?
No, we're paying tribute to All You Need Is Us, a Beatles experience.
okay. Now
Whose brainchild was this?
okay? Yeah, good question, Steve. Who came up with this?
Well, it was Greg's idea.
And that's you.
No, I'm George.
No,
Not who you portray on stage.
he portrays Paul.
No, I am George. I portray Greg.
And Greg
Oh my God!
Greg portrays Paul.
There's some serious Cannonball Run type action going on here.
Let me give an example. Let's focus on me.
Okay, let's talk about you.
Okay.
And you're George Martin.
Yes, and
Okay.
I mentioned Greg is right-handed, even though he portrays Paul.
And Paul McCartney
Is a lefty.
is a lefty.
Yes,
But Greg is a righty.
that's right.
So what
Okay.
is your guy?
And I taught myself how to play right-handed so I could emulate Greg on stage.
What do you mean you taught yourself to play right?
You're ambidextrous, aren't
So
you?
you're a lefty, but you wanted to impersonate Greg, not Paul, so you...
I'm naturally left-handed, but
course you are.
I've gone to great pains to teach myself how to play right-handed, so I can portray Greg accurately.
So from the get-go, you were actually a more accurate Paul McCartney impersonator than Greg.
I don't know. I guess.
But you chose... Who
Do
else
you actually sell tickets to this?
Yeah, who else is in this band?
Okay, I play Greg,
Who plays Paul?
and Heinrich
Yes.
plays Blake and Badger.
Okay, keep going.
Harold is Harper,
Okay.
and Greg is Logan.
Well, hold on a second. I thought you were Greg.
No, I'm George.
So you
No.
are guys pretending to
Wait.
be guys that are pretending to be the Beatles. Is that about
How
the
long
gist
have you
of
been
it?
doing this?
I need some clarification real quick on something. You said that you are Greg?
I portray Greg.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, okay. But you said that there's another Greg in the band?
Yes. I portray Greg. Greg has Greg with two G's, and there's a Greg in our band who portrays Logan.
So the Greg in your band portrays Logan, who portrays
John.
John.
It's actually quite simple.
Is it?
So, yeah, okay. How long? Okay.
Do you sell tickets? I mean, is this actually a profitable experience for you, or do you just like play in a garage?
Sure, we do songs from all periods of the band's existence.
Like what? Like give us a list of some songs that you do.
Oh gosh, we do. I Saw Her Standing There, Twist and Shout, Can't Buy Me Love, Revolution, Sweet Caroline, Yellow Submarine.
Sweet
Let
Caroline?
it go. Let it go.
Wait. No. What?
Sweet Caroline is not the Beatles.
No, it's not.
I didn't say it was.
But
Okay.
you're a
hold on.
tribute band to a tribute band of the
Sir,
Beatles.
You're pretending to be guys who are pretending to be the Beatles, who are covering a song
And you're doing a
that
Neil
was
Diamond
popular
song.
after the guys you were pretending to be broke up.
Okay.
Look, no offense. I'm in a band. I'm very much into music. Do you think I don't know that Sweet Caroline was not a Beatles song?
At this point,
Yeah,
I'm not real certain about that.
Okay, well then I think
Even odds.
the question we need to ask here is why do you do Sweet Caroline?
Well, we're portraying All You Need Is Us, a Beatles experience.
Yeah, we got that.
Well, let me explain. They started playing in their frat, and they've become this All You Need Is Us, a Beatles experience. Before that, they played in their frat and played a lot of popular cover songs like Sweet Caroline, that in their early period. So we start off our sets portraying their early period stuff, and then we move on to the Beatles.
Okay,
So it's not.
Let me ask you
much of a Beatles tribute band as it is.
A
You're
tribute to
dressing
the
up.
tribute-
I mean,
the
you're
tribute
basically playing a glorified version of Rock Band. Is what it comes down to.
So,
Let me explain again. We're not a Beatles tribute band.
okay.
No, but you're portraying a Beatles tribute band.
We're portraying All You Need Is Us, a Beatles experience.
Right.
So if the band that you're emulating decided they wanted to move into a Springsteen phase, what would you do then?
Then we would incorporate songs into our set accordingly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right now we do Hey Jude, we do I'm Down, we do Blackbird, Brown Eyed Girl, You Shook Me All Night Long, Turn Down for What?
Sure.
Wait,
Uh,
whoa,
Okay.
whoa,
Where
whoa.
can I get tickets to
Wait,
this?
whoa. Turn down for what?
What?
You said you do the song Turn Down for What?
Yeah.
Is
yeah.
that a Little John song?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fairly recent Little John song.
Well, and that comes. Sorry, I didn't clarify. That comes from All You Need Is Us, a Beatles experience's early period.
What?
Early?
How would that be early when it just came out like
It's
within the last few years?
Month.
Yeah, okay. How long All You Need Is Us, a Beatles experience.
How long have they been performing?
How long have they been together as a band?
Oh, at least 9 months or a year.
So, and how long have they been a Beatles tribute band?
Oh, let's see. They started that at the beginning of the summer, so a while, a month and a half.
So are these...
What? I mean,
Are these young guys? Because you're talking about them being in a frat. So these are guys just out of college?
No, these are our college guys. They're 19, 20, 21.
Okay.
And they do a fantastic job.
Well, now this begs the question. Then, how old are you?
Well, I'm notably older than that.
What's notably?
I'm 45.
Huh.
How long have you been a musician?
Oh,
We calling him that?
quite a while. I mean,
Are we talking years?
yes.
Decades?
Yes, it's fair to say.
Decade means 10-year period.
so how in
traditionally.
such a short period of time did this tribute band get on your radar, and what made this seem like a good idea to do a tribute to a tribute band?
Just Greg, Heinrich, Harold, and I thought that these five boys were doing a fantastic job. They were just performing vital music and emulating the Beatles in such a vivid way.
But don't...
So you thought, what the heck? Let's impersonate them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was deeply influenced by their performance first
So,
time I saw them.
I go
Do
back
you
to my.
not screen calls anymore? I mean, is it
I'm
that
beginning
hard?
to question
I mean,
that myself. But
I'm
go
sorry, one
back-
question
go-
at a time, please.
Going back to my original question,
And I've got another
do you
one
guys
after.
actually sell tickets? I mean, do you make money off of this?
Well, sure. I mean, we make a respectable amount. We have to split it 4 ways, sometimes 5.
Well, I mean,
But-
respectable amount. Are you talking like $100?
Yeah, back that up.
Whoa,
no.
whoa.
What determines if it's a 4 or 5-way split? I got to ask that.
Well, and there's me, Greg, Heinrich, and Harold, and then sometimes Malik plays with us.
And who is... Okay, and I actually have another question. Who is Malik?
Well, Malik portrays Kristen.
Someone ask.
Who's Kristen?
Kristen is the sometimes 5th member of All You Need Is Us, a Beatles experience.
And
Does he
No.
play saxophone?
No, wait a minute. Wouldn't it be... Because we need to answer the question because Blake and Badger play George, right?
I'm sorry, 6th member.
So
Sorry.
it would be the 6th member. I have a question before we get into
it's the Pete Best of the group.
Malik. How does Heinrich play Blake and Badger? Or does that what Malik does? Malik plays Badger and Heinrich plays...
No,
Blake?
absolutely not. Heinrich portrays both Blake and Badger.
Then you're not accurately tributing this band, are you?
No, he absolutely is.
How so?
He can play both. He can play both Blake and Badger's guitar parts, and he. You've seen the sideshow people that have like the half man, half woman costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heinrich has one of those going on where half of him appears as Blake, and then the other one appears as Badger.
So he just like turns half of himself towards
Yeah.
the audience at one point and then turns the other way.
Yeah, and we've had to resort to that. We're not completely pleased with that. Initially, he came out and performed as Badger, and then he would go backstage at intermission and shave his facial hair and come back out. But that just
I can't
Wait,
imagine
that just caused
anybody
a
being
lot of-
completely
a lot of
pleased about
shaving.
any of this.
Nicks and
Wait. He does what?
Shaves his facial hair.
Does Badger have facial hair?
Well, yeah, of course he does.
And Blake doesn't.
No.
So Heinrich would grow facial hair for a show,
Shave it in the middle
and
of
then
the show.
in the middle of the show come out as Blake.
So there's no going back.
Right, and that was kind of limiting. So now he's
That
got
was limiting.
Half of his face has Badger's facial hair, and the other half is clean shaven like Blake.
All right, can
and
we
that
get
just makes it more versatile.
This is possibly the dumbest idea I
I was
have
just
ever
getting ready
heard.
to say, we've heard about ghosts made out of biscuits, and that looks like,
Genius.
yes, compared to
okay,
what...
okay. I need to get onto this Malik and Kristen thing. Malik is in your band.
Yes,
Malik portrays Kristen,
right.
the sixth member of All You Need Is Us, a Beatles Experience.
That is correct. Yes.
Who is Kristen in the band?
Oh, Kristen does Pete Best for when they do the Cavern Club.
There it is. Bingo.
So wait a minute. So All You Need Is Us has a section where they have Pete Best.
At times, sometimes they do like the early years, like I said, the Cavern Club performances, and they use Kristen because she does a mean Pete Best.
Okay, I have to ask a question then real quick. Kristen is a girl, a female?
Yes.
And
Not
she
a bearded lady
impersonates-
or half man, half...
And real quick, I have to ask this question. Is Malik female?
Well, no.
Why?
Wow.
Okay.
So much for details.
Predictable.
What does Kristen look like?
Well, you mean on stage?
No, sure. No.
She looks like Pete Best.
Okay, so what does she look like in real life?
Well, she looks relatively like Pete Best in real life, also, actually. But
Okay, so what does Malik look like?
he does himself up like Kristen.
He does himself up, meaning...
Yeah, he wears a wig and.
But then he's wearing a wig to look like a woman playing a man?
Yeah, if you put it that way, yeah.
So why wouldn't he just cut out the middle woman in this case and just dress to look like Pete Best? Oh, never
We
mind,
do
because
not- we do
yep,
not
yeah,
impersonate the
I
Beatles.
got it. Yeah, sadly, I got that.
I'm going to continue to say this is possibly the dumbest.
There's no
idea
possibly.
I have ever
that
heard.
ship has sailed.
I can't imagine you sell one ticket, let alone any.
They're gonna get my money just to see this train wreck.
I am deeply offended by your statement.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry. but-
Okay, Greg, I have a question.
George.
What's that?
George.
George. Right.
My name's George.
You're George,
Yeah.
and you play
Greg, who
Yes.
plays
My name is
Paul.
George.
Elvis.
I play Greg. Greg
Right.
plays John, the other Greg.
Do you not think it's confusing to have someone playing George, and then you have a band where someone is also playing someone playing George, and your name is George?
No.
Not to mention the fact
how many times have I explained it now?
I don't know.
I don't know if you've explained
It
it.
gets
Actually,
more confusing
Not to
every
mention
time.
the fact you are named. Is George Martin your real name?
Yeah. Yes.
That is the name of, as you well know, the Beatles producer.
No, he might not because he's not a Beatles fan.
Are you aware that that's the name of the Beatles producer?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Huh.
How about that?
Coincidence? I think not.
So, okay, I got to ask, is All You Need Is Us, a Beatles Experience, a popular show
Yeah. On campus, it certainly is.
on campus?
On campus.
Now, how popular, in relation to All You Need Is Us, how popular is All You Need Is Them,
And
and
all you need is
Us,
a Beatles experience.
How popular are they? Are you?
Well, you have to look at the Beatles compared to Beatles tribute bands. I mean, even All You Need Is Us, a Beatles Experience, who does an amazing job, obviously do not attain the heights of popularity of the Beatles.
Right.
And we follow along that same continuum where we're striving to be All You Need Is Us, a Beatles Experience, but we haven't reached that level of popularity and success yet.
Now, and here's the thing.
So do you like play to your families?
Filling up those bingo halls.
You sound like you've all been musicians for years. You sound not just competent, but you sound like you're very talented because you have one guy who can do the work of two people in the other band. I don't understand why you don't just go out on your own and make your own band. I mean, make it a Beatles band or make it a cover band or both.
Well, when you're involved, and I don't expect you guys to understand, but when you're involved with a tribute act, you're striving to emulate that act that you're such a fan of, and that's exactly what we're doing.
How?
But
okay,
nobody gets that.
I'm such a fan of Greg and what Greg does, and every night I try and do my version of that.
Okay, and let me ask you a question. Are they aware of your band's existence?
I'm betting the restraining order says yes.
Oh, sure they are.
What do they think of it?
That's hard to say. I think they're flattered. They've never said as much, but I can tell they are.
You can tell what they're thinking?
What were they thinking?
They're thinking that we're honoring them.
Okay, and
I was thinking they were thinking you cannot do what I'm doing.
Yeah, you cannot have what they have.
I mean, is there any little bit of jealousy there like that? Like you're kind of jealous of what they have, and they're thinking I mean, have you ever interacted with them?
Do you stalk Greg?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay. Have you ever had any interaction with Greg?
Well, sure.
How? Give me an example.
Digging through his trash does not count.
Well, the first time I saw them play, I mean,
right.
it was at the teak house at their frat.
Okay.
And it was
no one going to question that.
It was an up close performance. It was.
Yeah.
It was life changing.
You know what? I was going to let that go, but now I'm not going to. How old did you say you were?
I'm 45.
What were you doing at the frat house?
I was there with my son.
Oh, this gets
How old's
better.
your son?
Is your son in college?
He is, yes.
Is he in the frat?
No, he couldn't get in.
But he went to the frat party.
Yeah, for a little
And
while.
you tagged along.
For a little while. That.
Well, and I went along. I heard the music coming from the house, and I had to see what it was.
What music?
So glad I did.
What music did you hear then? What's the song that just put you over the edge?
Oh, it was "Can't Buy Me Love."
Would have guessed Cracklin' Rose.
But what about just being inspired by the Beatles version of that?
There was just something about All You Need Is Us, a Beatles Experience's performance of that. It was seminal.
Okay. Well, George, I got to tell you,
we hope you never call again.
I'm so glad
I beg your pardon.
we've supersized the show for this.
Let's be polite, George. We're going to wish you and Heinrich and Greg,
Malik,
and
Harold
the best of luck.
The half woman,
in your band, and your band is All You Need Is Them.
All You Need Is Them, and All You Need Is Us, a Beatles Experience.
Okay, I wish you the best of luck.
Look, after all this explaining, and I feel like I feel like it's not been a completely positive conversation. You sure you can't play a song for me?
Fine, I will play a song for you. What do you want to hear?
Can you play "Stairway to Heaven"?
Oh yeah, you bet.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
Radio Nowhere on WJBD Salem Centralia.
One last thing. If you bought my album and you came down here expecting me to...
WJBD Radio Nowhere. We're still here. It's 1:20. 2, actually, on the Sunday morning, and we are still here.
Oh, gosh, I got to go.
You were up way past your bedtime, Funky.
That's true.
We're surprised you're asleep.
Where's your teddy bear?
Your REM CD.
It's behind me on the floor.
So we ran a little bit long after that interesting call we got from.
Was it interesting?
I think it was interesting.
It was. I was engaged the whole time. Let's put it that way. I
thought it was dumb.
You know, what's dumb is talking on the radio with your mouth full.
What?
Yeah. So we just heard the Dead Milkmen and Punk Rock Girl. Before that, Weird Al's latest polka. Now that's what I call polka from his Mandatory Fun CD. We heard Steve Martin, his live version of King Tut. And then at the top of the hour, we heard Smells Like Nirvana, Weird Al Yankovic's Smells Like Teen Spirit parody. And we have run long, and we are getting ready to wrap things up after an interesting Radio Nowhere night of parody and oddball music tonight. We featured some Weird Al, but we also got to hear, like I said, we heard the... You guys remember the Dead Milkmen? I mean, that's Funky CD. Obviously, he remembers it. You remember Punk Rock Girl, don't you?
Yes.
And, this would have been the night to bring up some of your Disney stuff, Chad, and yet...
I think we played it all already.
We just play that during regular shows.
So a weirder night than usual. We're getting ready to wrap up. We're going to play another Al tune here real quick. So if you like what you heard, tell a friend. If you don't like what you heard, don't tell anyone.
Yeah, ever.
Ever.
I didn't like what I heard, honestly.
Don't tell anyone that. You're telling
too late
people.
Yep. Oh.
And the song we're getting ready to hear is by a band called The Shags, and Funky is going to tell us a little bit about them.
Okay, it does require a little bit of explaining. This is 1969, and it's since been released on CD in much more recent years. Four sisters who had, let's just say, a limited musical aptitude, let's just put it that way.
Okay.
And their father was convinced that they could be the next big thing, the next popular group. So he ushered them into, bought time at a recording studio and ushered them in probably a little bit prematurely, as we'll hear on the title track here. But it kind of has become a notorious album over the years, and like I said, finally got re-released on CD. So this is the title track. This is Philosophy of the World, and it's the Shags on Radio Nowhere, WJBD.
Funky, I don't know about this song, buddy. I know you said you think it's fascinating.
This is awful.
Yeah, and Funky, what's the name of track 3 on that album? What's the name of track 3 on that album?
The other one we talked about?
The other one we talked about. I just want you to say the title of it.
My Pal Foot Foot.
And this, it started again. Why is it starting again? Why is it
starting itself?
Oh no!
What the poor people got. People want what the rich people got. And the skinny people want what the fat people got. On the day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create a dream come true, starlight in
WJBD Salem Centralia.
This has been an I Love Raisins production.